we're going to get started here. I'm coming up here for you. It's been an interesting day. Had a lot good going on, and we're going to talk about the weeds, decluttering, basically decluttering the garden of life for no weeds. Many of us have gardens, and the garden of our life is full of weeds. I know myself. I have plenty of weeds that I've been working on, and they are, coming to, some of them are coming to a conclusion. But the one thing I have to watch for is my own mind, about the weed situation. If I let it take over, anxiety, depression, or any number of negative factors in my life, my garden gets so full of weeds, I can't even walk out there and determine which kind of, how can I say it, garden I got, or what is in my garden. And this is just to kind of let you know that, just to let you know, this is Declutter's Delight for Life. We help you declutter the clutter in your life. Through my clutter or other people's clutter, we're having a podcast that's also going to be coming up. And we are looking for guests for that. So if you would like to be a member of that, messenger me or email me at Andrea@84th Street Rocks. And we also have a book coming out, and I just keep letting you know. It will let you know the link so you can get your book. And it's Declutter's a hoarder turned declutterer. I know. I have to admit I still have some memory issues from the accident, and I'm still not perfect, but you know what? Considering everything, I think your life has been treating me pretty well. And as far as I'm concerned, what weeds do you have in your garden? Is your mind a mess? Is your relationships a mess? Is your finances a mess? Is your spiritual life a mess? Is your emotional life a mess? We have so many different messes and weeds in our garden. Sometimes we don't even know where to begin. Well, I'm going to hopefully provide a simple outline for you guys to follow so that you may be able to do some decluttering in your own garden. But just to kind of let you know, we do have a 28-day Decluttering Life Challenge coming up. It starts tomorrow at 5:45, and it will go for a half an hour each day at night. And we will give you, stuff to do and handle so that you can, declutter your emotional, your mind, your spirit. And there'll be one more thing for you, and I'm just gonna keep that a surprise because we'll be springing it on tomorrow, and it is free. What we'll be giving you is free, and it'll be totally optional. It's up to you to take the choice and take the challenge. And I put it out there because it is going to be a great challenge. We've been working hard on it to come to you. And it starts tomorrow, and I even have work I've got to do on it tonight. So just to let you know, I'm continuously working on things. So with that, I won't delay you anymore. Sometimes de-weeding errors in your life can be difficult. Yes, I know. I'm talking about work here. Going in, maybe you see a therapist, maybe you go out and get some weed killer. For whatever problems you're dealing with. No, I don't mean go out and hurt someone either. What I'm talking about is taking action on de-weeding the gardens and finding ways to get those weeds out of your garden. Because underneath those weeds is some beautiful dirt, which is your life. And if you think about it, when a garden, or if you've seen a garden that is full of weeds, then you realize it's really hard to plant or grow anything in a garden like that. And I know from my life, even over the last few months, my garden has been a mess. And the one thing I did realize today is that I've got a new sponsor who's going to help me even with my food and make things even better. And that's a weed I have to work on too. So I still have weeds. I'm still not perfect. But the only thing is you got to be willing to do the work and do the footwork to it. Yeah, I keep talking a lot about that. And also taking a little bit of personal responsibility for what you're doing. And if you do so, you can have a great life. You know, sometimes you have to go out and get tools like hoes and rakes and shovels and other things. Just sometimes de-weeding a garden is hard because the ground is so hard, and sometimes you have hardened hearts. You can't have a hardened heart if you're going to de-weed your garden. If you have a hardened heart to doing anything, you'll never go anywhere in life. You'll stay stuck. Believe me, I've been stuck for many years until here recently. And no, I'm not stuck anymore. I'm unstuck, and my garden is looking rather nice, and I rather like enjoying my garden. Doesn't mean there's still not issues or problems or weeds out there. It just means that, you know, life is much better in how I view things and how I'm able to get things done. I've gotten more done this last week by challenging myself that my own weeds and my own pain, which I've gotten some, but I've learned to handle them and deal with them and walk on. And I'm walking on the treadmill more than I have in over a year. And that is, you know, what goes on upstairs and with him upstairs makes for a beautiful thing. Because, you know, like for me with an anxiety disorder, I'm able to overcome it because I choose to. And yes, this is also about choice. And I gotta make that better. There we go for you guys. Because you know what? You know, I don't like to see you guys have weeds either. And that's why I come to you every night. You know, get ready to pull up with all your might. Yes, you know, when you pull up those weeds, whether it be finances, relationships, your spiritual life, your mind, your emotions, all those different aspects of your life. I bet if you look there, you probably have some weeds and you didn't even realize it. And if you declare those weeds, let me say, you'll do some wondrous things for yourself. And that doesn't necessarily mean you go out and spend a lot of money, but it also doesn't mean you don't spend some money to get what you need so you can get rid of those weeds, because a lot of times those weeds are preventing you from what God has for you, and we can be our own blockage between here and God. And that includes me. One thing I come to realize is that I have to put on my armor so the devil, whether or not you believe in it, attacks me in my emotions and my anxiety and everything. But when I put on that armor, then there's no way he can do that to me. And when I talk with positive folks and bring those kind of things in, it just makes for a greater thing. Another part of getting rid of weeds in your garden of life is letting go. How many times have you gotten rid of a weed or thought you gotten rid of a weed, and then you come to realize that, oh no, that weed is still there. It had a root. You have to dig the root out of whatever weed it is in your garden of life. And when you pull out the root, sometimes it's going to hurt somewhat. And that's not being mean or anything. It just means that in a way, by pulling that root out, you're being very loving and kind and compassionate to yourself, because you come to realize that instead of having that weed there stay, grow back, it's gone. It's permanently gone. And sometimes you have to put a little weed killer on it too, to make sure it is gone. And sometimes that hurts too. It's kind of like sometimes when we put alcohol on a wound and it stings. But that doesn't mean we have to continue down our path. I have had addictions. I've had hoarding. I've been extremely morbidly obese. I've dealt with Wicca, which was a wrong path for me, and 20 years of bad relationships. Well, and that doesn't include what happened to me as a kid. Well, that doesn't make up my present moment. And that doesn't have to make up your present moment either, because your present moment can be decluttered, de-weeded. And when you get decluttering those weeds, whether it be stuff, that I had plenty of stuff, And I still sometimes look at myself when I do get stuff. Do I really need it? Is it necessary? Yeah, I got some things I needed today and made sure that I have healthy food to eat, because I have to be honest, the food was healthy that I was eating, but I'm going to eat much healthier, much more fresh fruits and vegetables and all sorts